Battlefield 2042 Hazard Zone, the game mode that we know almost nothing about, but I can practically guarantee that DICE is hoping that this is the mode that unseats things like Warzone. Now we're going to talk a little bit about if that's even possible today, as well as what exactly is Hazard Zone with the little information that we know so far. So without further ado, remember if you enjoyed today's video to leave it a nice, thick, and juicy like as always. Of course, if you enjoy this kind of content, you want more like it, be sure to hit that big red sexy subscribe button right underneath the video. Also gotta say, I've been streaming a ton lately. It's been an absolute blast hanging out with you guys. If you want to swing by and say hi, be sure to hit that notification bell. Last but not least, gotta thank my channel members. You guys help make these videos possible. If you want to join, get access to the exclusive perks that they get, then be sure to check out that blue join button. Anyway, let's begin. So I wanted to hold off on this video until after Gamescom because I thought they were going to show anything at Gamescom. Now, of course, DICE isn't obligated to show anything at Gamescom. I just figured that they would show us something, especially with the sort of drip feed marketing that's been going on so far. It'd be really nice to see gameplay or anything like that, which apparently the beta is going to be in the next couple of weeks. So until then, we will be just discussing things like this, like what is Hazard Zone and can it unseat Warzone? So first of all, to answer the first question, Hazard Zone is sort of the squad-based part of Battlefield 2042, and it kind of plays along with the theme of what 2042 is. It seems like it's checking off every single piece of the Battlefield audience. You have the all-out warfare for that classic Battlefield feel, but with that innovative touch that 2042 is going for. If you want some nostalgia DLC, or you just simply want to have some wacky, customizable fun, or even just community events and things like that, you can go to the portal and pretty much make whatever game modes that you want. Or of course, now we have Hazard Zone for the more squad-based tactical part of the community that enjoys the more strategic aspects of Battlefield and of course playing with your squad and whatnot. Now we don't know a ton about it, and I'm not going to go into too many details about the leaks and whatnot, just because a lot of people are comparing it to something like Tarkov or Hunt Showdown, and personally I haven't played those games, so I don't want to go into that and just sound like an idiot who doesn't know what he's talking about. Essentially, from what we can tell, what the rumors might be, it's going to be a sort of PvE, PvP type of deal where you're going to go in and there are going to be AI soldiers you might come up against, but you're going to have to infiltrate certain areas and collect data, while other squads are going to be in the area trying to also collect that data, and you have to compete with them to get it and then exfil out of the area in a safe manner. And it's very high stakes. I think we got some hints of it in the Exodus short film, in the initial part of that short film when Irish is going in to collect that data and he gets in that very kind of slow gunfight with Pac. Of course he wins. I think that's the kind of vibes that they're going for with Hazard Zone, which I think can be really fun. And then of course we see later in the trailer, once Nav and Rao cracks the code on what that information is, we can see that it's a satellite that's going to crash, and again it sets up another race to go collect more data. And I just think that's what Hazard Zone is going to be. This also might be where some of the story of 2042 is told through the multiplayer. I think that could be really cool as well. Now, why is this a big deal, and can Hazard Zone actually go up there and dethrone some of these giants of the genre that are, you know, the Fortnites and the Warzones and those sort of like BR games? Can it do that sort of a thing? Well, I think there's a couple of things that it has going for it. So like I said earlier in the video, it is sort of a hybrid of Tarkov and Hunt Showdown, according to rumor and data mining and whatnot like that. Obviously, you have to take that with a grain of salt, and aspects of the game could change from what that is. So again, that's not why I'm going into too many details, but that's sort of the gist of what it describes. That's what people are saying about it. Those games are not ultra mainstream games, and that's fine, but they do have very dedicated core audiences, and that's sort of a thing you want to look for when I would assume designing a game. Do people really love those games? And it seems like even in the sort of, I don't want to say they're quite indie games, but sort of the they're not AAA games type of deal. If they can maintain that kind of a following for the gameplay loop that they provide, then that's a good start. Now what you have is a studio like DICE and a game like Battlefield, which is far more accessible, and that's what you see with the other big giants in this specific genre, because Hazard Zone is sort of assumed to be the free-to-play part of 2042. So that right off the bat could be maximum accessibility. Anyone can just pick it up and play at least that part of it, if that is the case. Hasn't been announced yet, but I feel like that's a possibility with this part of the game. So that's accessible right off the bat. The other thing that you see with it is a more accessible gameplay loop. You don't have these sort of really minor things, these survival aspects that you're going to have to take care of like you would in a Tarkov, where, say for instance, an example I heard was if you fall down some stairs, you have to limp to the exfil. That's probably not going to be a Battlefield Battlefield, it's going to be much more focused on gunplay and decision making. And I think putting that emphasis on that sort of thing is much more skill based and adds so much more to tension within the game. So not only is the player feeling the tension of that, the viewers on the other side of the screen, people, you know, on Twitch and stream on YouTube and whatnot, they can get engaged with it as well, which is sort of what these games go for, because they feel the tension with the player. Every single decision matters in games like that. That's why these high stakes game modes are taking off so much. And if Battlefield can put this sort of a twist on things, add the vehicles, the squad based gameplay, you could have a really, really cool game mode on your hands that I think a lot of people could get into and find a lot of enjoyment in. Now, of course, at the end of the day, we haven't seen much of it, so everything I could be saying here could turn out to be absolute nonsense. I just want to quickly interject, if you guys can hear the weed eater outside, neighbors. But again, if they can nail these aspects of the game, give us a good high stakes game mode, I think that could really take off for a lot of people, and not only get them into Hazard Zone itself, but get them into Battlefield in general, because Battlefield is such a unique game, and I think it fits so well with the sort of new generation of shooters, because there are so many things you can do in games. Sure, Call of Duty has its audience, but those games are relatively compact with the 6v6 multiplayer, and not to take a dump on Call of Duty, it just feels like it is an outdated style of game in general. I think people want to push for a much bigger sort of experience, more all-encompassing, all-out warfare kind of experience. You want to be able to control vehicles, you want to be able to go wherever you want on these massive battlefields, and that's what a game like Battlefield provides, and it can be extremely unique for a lot of people. Sure, it's not a game that you're just gonna hop into and immediately just start mowing people down, and there are going to be random things that happen, but that's part of the joyful chaos that is Battlefield. And so hopefully Hazard Zone does take off, and hopefully it is a really fun mode. I'm excited to see more of it. I wasn't super excited at first, but the more I kind of did research on it for this video, the more I got really intrigued by it, and I think it can be a really awesome mode. Anyway, let me know down below what you guys think about Hazard Zone. Do you think it's going to be something that can come in and take over something like Warzone for a lot of people, or do you think it's just going to be a niche mode and you're going to hang out in all-out warfare most of the time? Let me know down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.